just landed in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's my first time visiting the state and I can't wait to explore. So welcome y'all to Uncommon Reader. I'm Daniela and this is my North Carolina travel and book haul vlog. First impression, while driving to Chapel Hill, I'm just in awe of the beautiful and peaceful landscapes, and there's so much greenery everywhere. The neighborhood we're staying at is so quiet. You can just hear the birds chirping away. And such beautiful homes. Totally my dream house style. Alas, no fireworks to celebrate the 4th, but our family dinner was really one to remember. And the next day, we're back in Raleigh to visit the North Carolina Museum of History. Rushing to it is more like it because the heat is quite intolerable. It's probably above 100, and the level of humidity is such that I find it hard to breathe. The museum visit was quite refreshing, and not just for the lovely air conditioning. I was quite impressed by the level of details, information, amount of artifacts, and reproductions, all tracing back from Indian settlements to the early 20th century.
Came into contact with European explorers, settlers, and traders. They traded goods, like the items you see here. They also traded germs, which led to devastating epidemics of new diseases among the Indians. In one sense, these goods can be seen as symbols of contact between very different cultures. But contact between Indians and Europeans changed both people forever.
But the fighting crippled the British Army, costing it over a quarter of its men. The outcome of the battle emboldened American patriots. North Carolinians fought on both sides of the battle. Though the fighting between North Carolinians was a larger war, it resulted in long-standing divisions between them. For decades, they had victory over North Carolina's relationship with the British government and how to respond to British policy. As frustration with the Britain grew, divisions
even more remarkable than his furniture. So take a look around. There's much you'll find behind the veneer.
You know where you went?
What do you say? You should have a connection.
The next day, we plan to visit a couple of plantation houses. Airmount is a Federal-era plantation house built in 1815 in Hillsborough by William Kirkland, and he named the house in honor of his birthplace, Ayr, in Scotland. This location was unfortunately closed, but nonetheless, I found this charming free library that was worth capturing. And I was even tempted to take a book with me as a memory. But then I didn't, because I felt bad not leaving one book in return. Our next stop was Stagville State Historic Site, located in Durham County, with buildings constructed from the late 18th century to the mid-19th century. Stagville was part of one of the largest plantation complexes in the American South. The entire complex was owned by the Benehan, Montag, and Cameron families. It comprised roughly 30,000 acres and was home to almost 900 enslaved African Americans in 1860. This visit was truly memorable because our guide was able to convey the extreme conditions, physical and emotional, that the slaves were subjected to. He also shared the personal stories of some of those who escaped slavery, like Mary Walker's. Her story is truly remarkable, and I encourage you to check out more on her escape and life in the link you'll find in the info box. The weather conditions during this visit were quite extreme, and it made me realize how excruciating it must have been for those working in the fields under the scorching sun all day. Last stop for the day is Flyleaf Books, an independent bookshop in Chapel Hill, opened in 2009. They also have a used section that I dived into, and I bought something. Isn't that a cute bag? Love it. But what did I buy? Well, you're about to find out. I bought 2 used books. The first one is A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towell. And I've heard such great things about this book, I couldn't resist. The price was $8.50. If you're not familiar with this book, let me tell you what it is about. When in 1922, 30-year-old Count Alexander Roscoe is deemed unrepentant aristocrat by the Bolshevik tribunal, he is sentenced to house arrest in the Metropole, a grand hotel near the Kremlin. An indomitable man of erudition and wit, Roscoe must now live in an attic room as some of the most tumultuous decades in Russian history unfold. Unexpectedly, the Count's reduced circumstances provide him entry into a world of emotional discovery as he forges friendships with the hotel's denizens. But when fate puts the life of a young girl in his hands, he must draw on all his ingenuity to protect the future she deserves. Hailed for its humor, intrigue, and beautifully rendered scene, this singular novel casts a spell as it relates to the Count's endeavor to become a man of purpose. I've heard it's really, really witty, and I'm not really intimidated by the amount of pages, which are 462. Let's see. The second book I bought, I also heard so much about Americana by, wait a second, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And this is a beautiful story. Oprah says it's a masterful pulls no punches with regard to race, class, and the high-risk, heart-tearing struggle for belonging in a fractured world. This is, of course, it's a story about migration. 2 are the protagonists, Ifemelu and Obinze, are quite young and in love when they depart military-ruled Nigeria for the West. Beautiful, self-assured Ifemelu heads for America, where despite her academic success, she's forced to grapple with what it means to be Black for the first time in her life. Quiet, thoughtful Obinze had hoped to join her, but with post-9/11 America close to him, he instead plunges into a dangerous, undocumented life in London. At once powerful and tender, Americana is a remarkable novel of race, love, and identity. And I believe this book also won some award. And the San Francisco Chronicle defines this book dazzling, funny, and defiant, and simultaneously so wise. Brilliant. Then I also received a very special gift. And da-da, I'm so truly excited for this book because it is, here, my first ever Tracy Chevalier read. I know, she's so famous and she wrote so many books and also kind of my favorite genres as well, because she writes historic novels. And this one is an historic novel and also a family saga. So it has all, that it needs for me to love this book. Plus, it's also set in Italy, my own country. So I'm going to read you the story, the plot. And we are in Venice in 1486. Across the lagoon lies Murano. Time flows differently here, like the glass the island's maestros spend their lives learning to handle. Ursula Rosso is the eldest daughter in a family of glass blowers. As a woman, she's not meant to work with glass, but she has the hands for it, the heart and the vision. When her father dies, she teaches herself to make glass beads in secret, and her work boosts the Rosso family fortune. Skipping like a stone through the centuries, we follow Ursula and her family as they live through creative triumphs and heartbreaking loss. From a plague devastating Venice to continental soldiers stripping its palazzos bare, from the domination of Murano and its glass maestros to the transformation of the city of trade into a city of tourists. In every era, the Rosso women ensure that their work and their bonds endure. Tracy Chevalier is a master of her own craft, and the glassmaker is as inventive as it is spellbinding, a mesmerizing portrait of a woman, a family, and a city as eternal as glass. Well, can't wait to read this book, and I hope I can read it at the same time with the person that gifted it to me. Thank you so much, Sanjita. I can't wait. And you may have noticed, but I had to re-record this last piece because I had some technical problems during editing and some part of the video disappeared. So let's return to the original footage. And this is it for today. Thank you for watching this video. I truly loved my visit to North Carolina. It was a really short trip, so I hope to be back soon, perhaps when it's not so hot that I'm melting. And next week I'll be back with a California vlog and book haul, because of course I did some damage here too, and look forward to show you what I bought here. In the meantime, happy reading, y'all. Ciao.